Good morning, everyone. This is MightyStream. I'm happy to be with you today. Today is May the 8th, and we are going to do the Just for Today in a meditation for May 8th. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. H.O.O.D stands for Hope Offered on Demand. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer, and get right into the reading. Moment of silence now. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, here we go. May 8th, Teachable. We have learned that it is okay to not know all the answers, for then we are teachable and can learn to live our new life successfully. Basic text, page 96. In a way, addiction is a great teacher. And if addiction teaches us nothing else, it will teach us humility. We hear it said that it took our very best thinking to get to NA. Now that we're here to learn. The NA Fellowship is a wonderful learning environment for the recovering addict. We aren't made to feel stupid at meetings. Indeed, we find others who've been exactly where we've been and who've found a way out. All we have to do is admit that we don't have all of the answers. Then listen as others share what's worked for them. As recovering addicts and as human beings, we have much to learn. Other addicts and other humans have much to teach us about what works and what doesn't. As long as we remain teachable, we can take advantage of the experience of others. Just for today, I will admit that I don't have all of the answers. I will look and listen to the experience of others for the answers I need. That's a beautiful reading. It's a very spiritual reading because a lot of times we say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And for me, what that has meant over the years is that the teacher was always there, because it's impossible to live a life without having certain players in your life, right? The teachers were always there. The difference, what changed was my perspective. At one time in my life, I will be more humbled because of something I went through, and realizing that now you think you had all the answers, but you don't, girl. You need to sit it down and be open. And in that moment, I am the student that is ready. Life has forced me into that position. And so now I'm on humble ground and I'm able to receive the input of others. Then there's times in my life where I'm just tenacious and I'm bold and I might be angry. And I really have been probably doing too much and giving too much, right? I've been going beyond my reasonable contribution. And I've said yes when I really meant no. And I've said no when I really meant yes. And so now I'm angry and I have to put up a barrier. I have to put up a wall that no one can penetrate. And they'll tell you, have you talked to her lately? I mean, she is ready for an argument at a drop of a hat, right? I'm just trying to give you an example how you can go through seasons of your life where you are actually teachable versus seasons where you're not teachable at all and you're not approachable at all, right? And so I want to charge you today to start looking at your patterns of being teachable or not teachable. You know, you can make, a person can make a mockery, right? They can make a mockery of you. Say if it's a child that you have, a grown child that you have, and they know that by posturing themselves as though they're meek, humble, and Teachable coming to you with certain issues, they know that you are going to feel lifted up and you are going to present answers that they themselves should be working towards getting. So they can mock you in a way where it appears that they're teachable, but a lot of times, depending on the child that you're working with, a lot of times it may just be that they are actually trying to get something from you. And they know if they take that particular posture, they will be able to get whatever it is that they need. Excuse me, I have a lot of movement in the background, so I just wanted to shut that door. So they will posture themselves and present themselves as though they're teachable with the whole goal in mind to manipulate you, to bring the answers. And a lot of times the answers that they need or want are really financial. It's really nothing spiritual, right? It's financial. They want you to bring, the finances. And so there is a mockery that can take place in a student trying to appear that they're ready so that they can get what they need. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you do. I'm talking about what I do, right? Not those people that come to us with their hand out looking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how do I come to the table? How do I present myself in a meeting? Okay, so in my area, there's a few of us still. There's a lot of older ones in the program. Some of them somewhere in the early 2000s, right around 9/11, some of them relapsed. So they should be in their 30 something years clean, but they're not. They're in their between 15 and 20 or 20 years or so, right? But there's some of us that maintain the clean time that came after they first came to the program, and we're younger than them, and we have more clean time now, but we don't have more living experience, right? So a lot of times when I show up at the meeting and I feel, I don't want to call them my elders, but there's people there that have some age on me, right? When I'm in that particular type of meeting, I find myself reposturing myself because I know that if they share, there's going to be some wisdom that's going to come, that maybe it's some bridges that I haven't yet crossed that they've crossed. There's a tendency to have people in the meeting sometimes overshare, like they take more than their allotted time to share. And a lot of times it's because the meeting is not active, right? There's people that aren't really sharing. And so the person that goes to share, they're like, there's like hardly anyone trying to share. So let me go ahead and use up this time. They're not comfortable with silence, right? So what I make sure that I do when I'm in a meeting, I do not always need to share, nor will I allow anyone to make a mockery, right? Make it appear that you're interested in something I have to say, when in fact, it's just a tactic, right? I share if I have something to share, but I don't share because I have the most clean time in the room. That one I will not do. And so you might find yourself in a similar environment where you're in the meeting and you have more clean time than a lot of the people, or maybe you've made more accomplishments, secularly speaking, than a lot of the people in the room. And you feel some pressure in some kind of way to share, to teach, right? in the sense of sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And I just want to encourage you not to do that, because even in the silence, there can be something that you can learn. And it's better to go and be humble than to go on, on a pride ride and then find out that um, somehow or another you were not speaking from your heart, you weren't genuine, but you were just filling up the airways with your speech. So I think it's important. That's one thing, that when I'm in a meeting, I don't always have to share. And if and when I share, I'm sharing because I feel there's something genuine going on that I want to share about. The other thing is that I don't let people make a mockery, because we have a statement that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, for me, the teacher has always been in the room. The teacher has always been the experience, strength, and hope of others. What changes is the posture of my heart, my mind, and my spirit, feeling like a student or being a student. So when the student is ready, then their perspective changes, and they are looking now for the players in the room that may be teachers or are able to teach them something just from their life experience. They have that posture of they're looking for it. It's kind of like when you buy a new car, right? When you buy, a Jeep. You buy a Jeep. Now, all of a sudden, you've never noticed Jeeps before, but now all of a sudden that you're driving a Jeep, you are picking up other Jeeps. There's a Jeep, there's a Jeep. Oh my goodness, that Jeep is so cute, right? And so because you made yourself ready and you own that, now you see it wherever you go. So it's the same way. It's the same principle of noticing or being aware, right? So once you're ready, once your heart, your spirit, your mind is postured as a student of life, then you become more aware, not necessarily of the other students, right? So maybe that analogy doesn't work, but you become aware of the teachers that have the information that you need. And I want to encourage you to do that. You can make it like a goal. I'm going to go to this particular meeting and I'm going to only share if it's a first step, right? Or I'm going to this meeting on these particular nights. At my home group, I will share on these particular nights. If I'm not in my home group, I'm going to just listen and challenge yourself. I remember I had this one lady that I sponsored, and she had a few degrees, accomplished business, very talkative, friendly. The problem was she could never share in her 5-minute allotted time. She was just warming up at 5 minutes. And because she was so theatrical and energetic in her shares, people kind of got swept away with the performance. And there'd be some substance, but a lot of times there was no substance to what she was sharing. She was just forcing everyone to watch and to listen to her, a bit narcissistic, right? And so we were working on a step one day, and I said, this is what I want to see you do, because the academic part of this, right, the study part of this, you got that down pat. Matter of fact, you probably know more about this stuff than I do, because I'm into my books, but I don't read them like they're the Bible. I read the Bible like the Bible is the Bible. I don't read this literature like it's the Bible, and I don't rehearse it, and I don't try to memorize it, even though I have a good memory. It's not something, a feather in my cap that I use as performance, right? So I said, you have a lot of book knowledge, and you truly do have a lot of experience. You truly do. However, when I'm in the meetings that you're in and you're sharing, I'm listening, posturing myself to just listen. And I can see the reaction of other people as they listen as well. But there seems to be a point in your share where people become agitated with you, and they're listening, but they're more glaring. Like, is she really talking for 20 minutes now? Why hasn't the chairperson stopped her share? And it happens over and over and over. As much as I love you, it's almost like I feel embarrassed for you, right? I feel like some kind of way, because I see that they're viewing you now not in the light that I know you. But we have a format at the beginning of each meeting. And that format, because each group is autonomous, that format that group has developed should be adhered to. You don't have the right to go into any meeting and disregard the format. So if the format says that you have 5 minutes to share, you should not make anyone cut you off. You should be adult enough, respectful enough, spiritual enough, humble enough to cut your own share off at 5 minutes. So this is what I would like for you to do. I want to challenge you. When you share, you look at your watch or you look at the clock and you share for exactly 5 minutes, and then you pass. So what that looks like is that you will, at 4 minutes and a half, you only have 30 more seconds to bring it to a nice close. And it doesn't matter if you're mid-thought, mid-experience, I want you to start respecting the time. You have to respect the time. Otherwise, what you're saying to everyone else in the room is that there are big I's and little U's. You are more important than they will be. And I don't want to see it anymore, because I feel some sort of way, and it really hurts me to watch people respond to you with such anger after you've gone way over the time to share. They become angry. And I understand that, but it's just hard as your sponsor to sit there and watch that. And I want you to start showing me that you have all of this information that you read about, that you have a very small sentence about it, that sharing, part of sharing is sharing the time. And I want you to start acknowledging that you have the right to share in the time frame that that group has set, and no more. And she agreed to do it. And I was really thankful, because I thought it was going to be a big tussle, but she agreed to do it. I know for a fact that she was only able to do it for a little bit, but at least she was willing. And so the point that I'm making is that we don't have to share all the time, and we don't have to share all the time, right? We don't have to share all of the time, and we don't have to share all the time. I want you to posture yourself where you can go into a meeting, and maybe it won't be every meeting, because maybe you're going through something and need to share, but to be of service and to listen to other people and see what is in their experience, strength, and hope that can teach you. Hey, on another note, I'm done with that one. On another note, I want to say today is May 8th. This particular year, It won't be if someone comes back to it next year, but this particular year, May 8th is on a Sunday and it is Mother's Day. And so I want to wish you happy Mother's Day. I want to wish you happy Mother's Day. And I want you to go forward, whether your mother is here alive with you or she's with you in spirit, or whether or not your children are with you or they're with you in spirit. If you are in the beautiful mode of motherhood, you are mothered or you are mothering. Even if you are a man who is mothering, I want to say to you, happy Mother's Day. There is something about birthing and having children, other than the fact that it's painful, you carry a lot of weight around for 9 months, right? But there's something about being put in someone's life to guide them. There's some ladies I know that this is their first year of having a child to care for. And so now Mother's Day is no longer about them just acknowledging their mom. I shouldn't say just, but it's about them being someone's mother. And so I just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day, wherever you are. I'll talk to you tomorrow.